Hey, well, everybody, welcome back to That BS Guy, your one-stop shop for everything bariatric surgery related. As you can see, I am traveling once again, and I know I said I was going to do some more updating, but the unfortunate part is that I now have a new phone. So I have gone over to the Apple side of things, and so yeah, life happens. Sorry, folks. I know some of you have been asking some questions, so I'm going to try and address some of those questions here. This is also going to serve as the men's update number 3. So the first part of this video will be majorly about, just the update over the past couple weeks, and then doing the men's update specifically. So, and you'll see why I'm doing it in that order. Let me just start with the facts update. I started my journey at 378 pounds on April 4th, 2019, or April 6th. I forget, honestly, it's been over 2 years now, which has been crazy. My surgery weight was 363 pounds. I am still in the 220-ish, 225 range. I wear a size 34 pants comfortably. I'm wearing a size large, and large being loose. I have more of a upper, thickness, but my lower part is still kind of, loose down here. So, I mean, I don't think I'm going to get any physically smaller unless I start to really hit, the dieting and what have you a little bit more. So, and honestly, for my body type and shape, I don't feel like it's really necessary to go down any further unless I really want to tone up. And you can kind of see some, I don't want to say cutting, but some kind of definition, so it doesn't look like, and I don't have a lot of excess skin. I do have some hang and what have you, but nothing terrible. Nothing that I would definitely, be ashamed of. When it comes down to life updates, one of the reasons why I haven't been posting lately is that I now have a new girlfriend. And she's absolutely gorgeous, very lovely. I'm hoping that it will last this time. I say that every time, but you got to go into it with a sense of optimism, right? But we'll see how it goes. I'm currently traveling for work again since I've been vaccinated and what have you. I think I said that in my last video that I'm now out and about. One of the things I wanted to kind of stress, so the first piece is has there been any long-term shifts? Has there been any residual problems I've been having? I use the word problem very loosely, okay? So there is a rhythm to my life now that I did not have to take in consideration before. And yes, that rhythm involves the bathroom, okay? So in the morning, I usually will have an initial movement, and then if I eat or drink anything, I will then have what I call a clearing movement, meaning that anything, the first things that hit me, whether it be coffee, any solid food, even just a protein shake or whatever, that will usually flush through me pretty darn quickly. From that point forward though, I typically, 9 times out of 10, will never have to use the bathroom number 2 for the rest of the day. And so it kind of sets me up to know exactly how my body's going to react. What's also funny is if I don't eat anything, which is I'm perfectly capable of not eating anything until around noon. If I wait until after the noon hour, assuming that I wake up somewhere in between 7 and 9 a.m., that I don't have that second flush. Okay, so if you are traveling, if you're in a situation where you're not going to have the ability to use the restroom, or you're just uncomfortable with using public restrooms and what have you, then maybe not having breakfast is an option, because you're not going to be really that hungry. So you can typically wait until the afternoon. Don't skip out on your vitamins or any other supplemental pills that you are taking in order to better yourself or what have you. But excuse me, I do suggest that you kind of know what your rhythm is. Now, this is mine. I can't speak for everybody. But what I will say is that it's important to kind of know your rhythm as you're going through your daily routine. Also, progressively throughout the day, your meals will start to get bigger. So my smallest meal of the day is always going to be breakfast, even though it's my favorite meal of the day, which is kind of unfortunate. And then a mid-sized meal would be lunch, and then my largest meal of the day is usually dinner. And then there's also supplemental snacks. I'll find myself eating probably 4 to 5 mid-sized meals a day rather than just chunking it out like normal. And then when I say mid-size, I'm talking mid-size comparatively for people who've had bariatric surgery rather than a mid-sized meal for a normie, okay? So also keep in mind that the dietary restrictions are still in effect even after all this time. Yes, you can incorporate some types of wheat spreads and things like that here and there, but I'm talking like 1 slice, maybe 1.5 slices. You definitely are not going to be able to have like the nice big fluffy potato buns from like the burger place, things like that. Like usually I'll take off one side of the bun, leave the really thin one on the bottom, and stack everything on top, or just ask for a lettuce wrap. I mean, you're going to have to make some of those sacrifices. Fries, I hate to say it, but you're going to need to not have the fries. Siri just tried to pop up for some weird reason. I digress. Point is that fries, you're not going to really have a lot of room for that, and also it can make you feel weird because it is really carb sensitive. Okay. Now, with that being said, that is more of the general stuff, and I'm going to get more into the men's side of things. And so I want to talk about 3 things today in terms of how my body has been adjusting and what have you. I want to talk about endurance. And yes, I am talking about bedroom endurance. I'm talking about bedroom performance. So let's just say that the lack of carbs affects you a bit, okay? And I went through a part of the last year really just avoiding all carbohydrates. Like I was just like, I'm not eating any of it, I'm done. Like I just want to avoid that like the plague. Well, what ends up happening is like you get the opportunity with a partner, and you're gonna find like, whoa, hey, you know, like what's going on here? This isn't the way, you know, this isn't meeting my own expectations for myself, right? Well, I come to find out, just like if you went to the gym and you didn't have any carbohydrates, when you are trying to do any kind of activity that involves, you know, some longevity, some carbs is going to be beneficial. So if you know that you're going to be in a situation like that, like with a partner or a potential partner, if you're going to go on a date and it's looking pretty promising or whatever, you may want to force yourself to eat a little bit more carbs than you normally would because of that. And that's something that I say with a big asterisk. You don't want to push yourself in the wrong direction, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't disappoint not only yourself, but also, you know, as a man, I think if we're all being honest with each other, we have a burden of performance that we need to meet in more than one category, and the bedroom is one of those things. So I will just say from my personal experience to you, my men friends out there, and if you're a wife or a woman who has a partner that's going through this surgery or is looking to do this surgery, you may want to also pay attention. Like if you're looking to have the best time for you, you may want to incorporate more carbs back in. Not a ton, but not going cold turkey like I did, right? Look up what's comfortable, look what you can handle. You might want to ease a little bit here and there or have it blended in, things like that. I'm not saying sit down and eat a whole pasta. That is not what I'm saying. I'm talking like, you know, tortillas or some whole wheat bread, things like that, to just kind of get you some more of those carbs that they're not there. I mean, substituting everything out for like cauliflower and things like that, that's great in terms of carb cutting, but you're also sacrificing some of the energy pieces that come with that. And your body does absorb carbohydrates more than protein and fat, assuming that you had the duodenal switch surgery. For the other surgeries, it's a little bit different. But what I will say is that when you have that when you have the carbs in there, there is a profound difference in performance. Okay, and I say that from experience, and I don't mean to be rude or crude or whatever, but I am just saying that if you're looking to have the best experience and then be satisfied in most aspects of your life, I think that is something that men typically find important. if we're being honest with ourselves. And so therefore, I think it's important to kind of take that in consideration. Yes, it might leave you feeling a little upset here and there, but you know, I will say you're probably going to be more upset in other ways if you don't. So I'll just say it like that. Once I discovered that magic trick, I'm just gonna say that the things have been on the up and up, and my girlfriend definitely appreciates the effort that you put forth. Now, sometimes I will say, for some guys, I've gotten some comments that say, well, hey, you know, I'm still having trouble in the bedroom, I'm still having trouble here, what do you suggest? I may suggest ED medication for those times where your body is not cooperating with you. I know that's not something a lot of guys like to talk about or even address, but I mean, the reality is that's what it's there for, you know. And if it's going to be the difference between having a good experience with your partner versus never having a good experience with your partner, you may want to bite that bullet. There's a monetary cost to that. Each one of those programs, whether it be the Roman, Blue Chew, 4 Hims, all of those things have a different pricing and delivery schedule and all those kind of things. So, I mean, pick your poison figuratively and literally, but just know that that is an option if, for whatever reason, it's not working right or if there's a problem there. But I would suggest first maybe reintroducing a few more carbs back into your diet before you go down that route, because that is something that was quite apparently different once I started to increase my food intake as far as like the carbohydrate section is concerned. If you're shortly after your surgery, you're probably not going to be able to, I mean, just to be blunt with you guys, like the first 6 months out of your, like from your surgery date, you probably should take it really, really easy. That means like, you should probably not drink, okay? And I know that I didn't follow that rule. I'm not saying you can't, okay? Just giving some advice here. You probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't do any strenuous activity. You probably shouldn't start working out yet, and you probably shouldn't be doing the vigorously, okay? If you want to start incorporating those things, fine, but just know that you want to give your body time to recover, particularly if you have the duodenal switch, because it is one of the most invasive surgeries out there. So just keep that in mind. The last 2 things I will say, or actually that was the second thing. The third thing I'll say is that be mindful of the attention that you may get after, and this goes probably for women too, but I would just say for men, like it's easy to get overexcited in certain situations because you haven't necessarily, let me put it this way, if you were not popular with whoever, you know, men, women, whoever you're deciding to date, right? You know, in my case, women, if you're not popular with women prior to surgery. Now, I was smaller at one point in my life, and then I blew up and got smaller, and I blew up and got smaller. So I do have experience dating. I'd like to think I'm not ugly, but at the same time, I know I'm not God's gift to women or anything like that, but you know, I knew how to handle the dating scene. I know other guys that have come to me and they get overwhelmed with the options and they freak themselves out mentally when it comes down to performance, and worst case scenario, they are not prepared to do that safely, and that has ended up in some situations where they may have gotten something they didn't want to get, or like created life, which was unintentional, but yet still happened. So what I'm saying is that have yourself prepared not only physically but mentally for that, and just because and don't think that the first offer you're going to get is it for you, right? You're going to find that you are moving up in the world as far as like your desirability, and so you can be picky, you can be a person that puts yourself out there in the right direction. So all I can tell you is that be safe about it, and make sure that as you go through, you know, your interactions where your energy level, whether it be working out, bedroom escapades, or just living your life daily, that you manage your diet. And what's right for me, it may not be what's right for everybody, but I'm just telling you my personal experiences, you know, as a guy who's who's 6 feet tall and a little more thick build, okay? And, you know, I will just say that I've gone on, before I was with my current girlfriend, I was on dates with other women, and, you know, they saw me with, you know, about my shirt on and stuff like that. And one of them actually had a bariatric surgery. She didn't tell me that. And she noticed my scars, my little incision wounds. And she's like, what are those from? And, you know, I said something along the lines of like, oh, I got my gallbladder removed, which is true. You know, it's true. I just didn't tell her the rest of it just yet. And she's like, huh, okay. And, you know, she knew I lost a lot of weight, but then she's like, is that all? I'm like, no. I told her after the fact. I was like, hey, you know, I did have bariatric surgery. She's like, I thought so. And I'm like, why, can you tell? And she's like, no, actually, like what I was going to say was, for a guy that's had it, you don't look like a guy that's had it. You know, meaning I don't have like the really droopy skin or anything like that. So like a lot of arm jiggles and things like that. So I personally, like my body has adjusted to it very, very well. So much so that my girlfriend, who is not petite little thing, like she's never, I mean, she works out a lot and she washes her weight, but she hasn't had to have any kind of surgeries to kind of supplement because she's gorgeous and all that. But the thing I'll say is that I've had to educate her through this process, and because she's so worried, she's like, oh, is that going to end your life sooner? I'm like, my life would have ended sooner if I had not done this, okay? And that's what a lot of people, like when you get into the dating scene, okay, men, my last thing of advice, do not apologize for what your actions are, okay? Yes, you will find girls, you will find people who will probably look down on you. But do not ever take a step back and apologize for what you did, okay? That's why I had to come to terms with that. When that one girl asked me about my incisions, I thought about backing away from it. And I'm like, hell no, you know what? No, this is what I did. I'm standing by my decision. And honestly, like when I've done that every single time I've started dating somebody, I've gotten more respect for it rather than being apologetic about it, okay? And you know, you just be steadfast in your decision making. And because this is your life, this is your body, this is your way of doing it. If hell, that girl probably wouldn't even been dating you. Let's be real. She probably wouldn't even been dating you if you hadn't have done that. Go figure, right? So anyways, I hope you like this little update video. I'm going to try my hardest now that I have a new phone to get more of a weekly update going for you. But I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you, and have a good one. Bye-bye.